Well, once again, we have to call out Governor Hochul, Kathy Hochul, for changes she made in the budget to school funding, and a lot of it's in this article from Newsday. I don't have the article, but I was able to get some of the graphics from the article from it, and I will. It's basically she wants to get rid of the hold harmless policy, which basically means hold harmless basically means that school districts can always count on at least the same amount of aid, state aid as the year before. However, Hochul wants to get rid of that and cut funding for certain school districts. And the rhyme or reason that she's doing this is ridiculous. A lot of us obviously have to do because of the illegals pouring into New York. She's basically taking money from people to spend on the illegals, just like Eric Adams is doing. Well, this is the kind of deals that we have here. So one thing you're going to look at here is certain school districts are getting a huge bump up in funding while others are getting a decrease. Mineola is one of the ones that's getting a decrease. And you notice that some districts like Bellmore Merrick is getting a 13.17% increase in state aid. It's a relatively wealthy area, all right? So they're going to be getting $52,000 in aid, all right? All right? Brentwood is also getting a small increase as well. But as we go through the list here, and we'll go through the list here, I have all the graphics on the screen, at least some of them. You can read some of them in the articles. It won't be a terribly long video. See, some school districts were really singled out and getting a real decrease, particularly the Hamptons. East Hampton. East Islip, surprisingly, too. East Meadow gets a boost in funding, all right? So it's ridiculous. Some of these decreases, I mean, you're going to take away 20% from a school district? That's ridiculous, all right? And the funny thing is she's doing this in areas that traditionally vote Democrat, which is kind of interesting, all right? And it seems like the Republican areas seem to be getting favored a lot. Look at Fire Island, too. Huge decrease in funding for Fire Island, 22%. Huge, and they don't get that much to begin with. I know it's a small school district, but still, it's not very much at all. It's like Franklin Square gets a bump. So some middle of the island areas get a bump up. Some don't. Locust Valley, another area that's getting hit very hard, negative 13.71 as well. Massapequa is getting a boost. Manhasset's getting a boost. Malvern is getting a boost. Lindbergh is getting a boost. I don't have all the towns on here. Let's take a look at Mineola because we're getting a decline in the funding. So we get $14,000 in aid from the state, which is much less than Bellmore does, which is ridiculous. But again, she favors certain areas. Look at Merrick, a 14% gain in the Merrick School District. Why is she giving so much to Bellmore and Merrick? What's going on there? It's like she's doing this to favor the areas that are popular with the finance professionals while punishing the East End, Montauk, getting a real decrease here. Oyster Bay also getting a big decrease. Meanwhile, Oyster Ponds is getting a 27% increase. Port Jefferson, look at Port Jefferson. 28% decrease in Port Jefferson. What has Port Jefferson done to cause such harm? Why does she hate Port Jefferson so much? It's like she's singling out certain towns. Just because. It's unbelievable. Quogue she hates too. They're getting a 27% decrease in funding. Rockville Center is getting a small, modest 1.40 increase in funding. How come Rockville Center is getting more funding than Mineola? Roslyn's also getting a 10% increase in funding. Sag Harbor, another area that's getting hit hard, 16.99%. Going to the next list. Look, Seaford gets more money too. So it's so obvious what's going on. She's favoring certain South Shore towns while hurting the North Shore and the East End the most, it seems. So I think that's all I got another one here to look at. Syosset barely gets an increase. Three Village also, one of Long Island's better districts, getting hit with a 17.86 funding cut. This is unacceptable. Truly is. I think that's all I've got. I got one more here. Westbury's barely seeing an increase in funding at all, though they do get funded a lot more compared to a lot of other districts. But you can see what's going on here. And It's so obvious what's going on here, and this governor is just playing favorites once again. She is very corrupted. I love how she said, "I'm not Andrew Cuomo. You are Andrew Cuomo. You're very corrupt. In fact, you're more corrupt than he is." It's unbelievable. This is one of the worst governors that we've ever had in this state. And what she's doing with the budget by getting rid of the hold harmless is absolutely ridiculous, and that needs to be stopped. That's completely unacceptable. So this is just a brief video, but I figured I would make a video about this because it's really ridiculous what she's doing. And like she says, reflects Governor Hochul's bold agenda to make New York more affordable, more livable, and safer. No, it doesn't do any of those things, man. The only thing I will say is that she has boosted funding for public transportation, but everything else is just no good. No good at all. It's just another part of what she wants to do. She's a Wall Street governor. Let's look at it that way, all right? She's not looking out for the common man like Phil Murphy. She's looking out for Wall Street, and the budget shows that once again. So that's all. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.